Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Viper's Pit, where you know anything can happen, and usually does. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Baldur's Gate 3. I know, I've already done this one. However, I wanted to add a few more things and take a couple things away, so I just decided to make you guys a brand new video. So, for those of you who've already seen the last one, this will not be exactly the same. And I go into a little bit more depth on some things, so stick with me. Go grab some popcorn, get a drink, get in your favorite comfy chair, and let's get this game started. But before we start, as always, please consider slapping that like button and subscribing to the channel if you like what I do. We love covering these latest and greatest video games for you, and we're working on putting out new content as often as possible. So be sure to hit the notification bell too, so that you know when I put out a new video. Baldur's Gate 3 has just launched its early access, and it already feels like it's doing everything it can to go on as if nothing ever happened. Since Baldur's Gate 2 was released in September of 2000, everyone has just been tooling around with expansions and remasters and all the other kind of add-ons that you get when you don't have a new game to play. Well, however, now we have a new game to play. And right from the beginning, we get hit with action. It isn't like when you run into an old friend that you haven't seen in years, and to be honest, you didn't really care to. But there you are, and you're caught. You see them, they see you, and then from one of you, you hear a super weird noise like, I think I recognize you. And then you start talking about the weather. And the two things that you had in common 20 years ago. Yeah. But Baldur's Gate 3 isn't like that. It's so much better. We are immediately hit with crazy monsters, unique spaceships, and all kinds of other eye-catching things. And we haven't even begun the start of the game yet. You can tell the guys over at Larian Studios wanted to remind us they're still in charge. From the beginning, you feel almost as you need to be on high alert. From the very beginning. But let's not let me get too far ahead of myself. We are still in the first part of the video. So let's take a look back at Baldur's Gate 2. And take a look at the things that have changed since 2000. Wow. September 2000. Wow. The combat has changed quite a bit from the original Baldur's Gate series. That kind of goes without saying. Originally designed to be used in real time, the character was viewed from a top-down isometric viewpoint. It also came with a pause function, which helped the player get a little bit more time on planning out his or her strategy. Now everything is turn-based, where you have as much time as you need now, so that you can think about your character's actions, what to do, and each party member will have a certain amount of initiative, and it is compared to the enemy's initiative. Whoever's higher goes first. The number of movements is based on the speed of the characters, and the actions are broken up into bonus actions and regular actions, along with some other common sense stuff well, to us now. But remember, we're comparing this to a game which first came out when NSYNC was still significant. I don't know if they ever were. For the game's graphics, they are incredibly detailed for an RPG style game. In Baldur's Gate 3, we're given more of a top-down viewpoint, which is adjustable by the player to include the camera angles, zooming in, zooming out, and they just modify it how they like to observe the game. As you can probably tell based on the previous description, this was likely to change due to how combat works in this game. All in all, it appears the art style and graphics are derived mainly from Larian Studios' other game, Divinity Original Sin 2, and adapted to this game. Next, we have character selection and customization. When you first boot up the game, you're given the ability to choose your character. That kind of goes out without saying. But, however, players also can choose their origin story, which kind of once again was taken from Divinity Original Sin 2 and adapted here. Not the exact same thing, guys, but you know the idea. But we all know the golden rule of success, too. If it isn't broken, don't try to fix it. The backstory selection was very successful, and therefore that was brought forward to Baldur's Gate 2, 3, 2. The origin stories don't appear to have a whole lot of customization as of yet, though, as the game goes on, you can still alter the character's overall stats, abilities, and skills, and you find out a little bit more about your background as you go through. So, there are tons of species in this game. I mean, tons of species. You can choose to play as a human, an elf, a halfling, a dwarf, a tiefling, a drow, a Githyanki, and many others. I would be here all day literally trying to list them all. Or any combination of which. Now, from there you go to your classes. The 6 in this game to start with: Wizard, Cleric, Fighter, Rogue, Ranger, Warlock. But remember, we're in the early stage of the game, so it's early release. And as time goes on, more races and classes will be available. Now that we have many of the differences put out there, let's move on to the specifics of this new game. Remember, the game is based on D&D, so it shouldn't be surprising that it will not play like a regular action game. The game itself pretty much assumes the roles of guide, dice roller, map, and dungeon master, all at the same time. This is excellent news for those of you who are new to D&D. You can still be the new guy and still be able to do very well in this game, since it pretty much does everything for you. If that isn't enough for you, then you can watch one of the many tutorials. Also, if you know D&D, then you know about the constant stream of paperwork, formulas, and spreadsheets that you have to deal with. Baldur's Gate 3 pretty much turns those sheets into illustrated concepts. Unsure what your character does? Boom! There's the stats. I mean, took all the work out of it, guys. Now, I don't believe this game should be used in place of playing D&D. For those of you who are into playing or thinking about playing at some point. However, the game is very rigid with the rules. So, As it's acting as the DM, it will not give you any chance to rethink your decisions. It is inflexible. But at the very least, playing the game gives you a chance to experience the D&D. Of course, the type of setting without having to plan for 5 other people to be there at the same time. But you know they won't. Then someone else will forget. And then Matt and Doc will forget the freaking Mountain Dew. And I'll end up having to buy half of the snacks. Wait a minute. Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Where was I? Another plan. Another plus to the gameplay is that the number of locations and the complexity of these locations. This will challenge you to be selective with the types of attributes you decide to select. Because incredibly detailed places don't just make for great battles. They make great exploration, and they're much more enjoyable. But you won't be exploring this map alone. Oh no. Very soon after you start, you will find your 5 companions. Each of them is unique as individuals, but lend their attributes to the team. They are accommodating along the way as they do everything from watching out for secrets to warning you of danger. The best part is that these companions aren't lightweights. They absolutely carry their weight. Eventually, as in Original Sin 2, you'll be able to pick these characters when you do your character creation instead of just recruiting them. Now, however, as of this point, you can only create a custom one with more of an empty backstory. Well, they say empty backstory. I don't know if it's a really empty backstory, but it's not really filled either. So, yeah, I like it. It doesn't matter. You guys probably will too. But as with everything in life, that's up to you. In Baldur's Gate 3, there will be a lot of dice rolling. The game will always be doing some sort of passive skill checks, which will happen automatically, of course. And as this game is quite a bit of an AI incorporated into it, you will lose some of your ability to make your own decisions from the pen and paper game. But you will get to roll the d20 as you would in real life. The game will still guide you and give you predetermined options. However, this is only slightly. So don't let it take away from your enthusiasm. The game makes up for this by giving you amazing visuals so that you don't merely have to imagine what's going on. The decisions and scenarios a player finds themselves in are shown in amazingly vivid detail. The dialogue and cutscenes that are included add yet another level of realism. So for those of you who are questioning if this game would be as good as an actual D&D game, the answer would be a definite yes. True, there will be some different elements, but where the game may lack in one area, it will totally make up for it in other places. Especially not having to keep up with those sheets. Even though I am super optimistic about this game, and about what we're seeing so far, we do need to talk about some of the aspects of the game that are a work in progress. Remember, we're not getting a finished game here, guys. According to the article on, I forget where it was. PC Gamer. There's still plenty of rough edges to fix. One of the highlighted problems is when the game goes into the cutscene. According to this writer, almost every chat he had during these cutscenes had some sort of glitch, weird physics, characters become freakishly contorted, or some other bizarre occurrence. It is tempting to let these glitches kill your enthusiasm, especially if you're like me and you've been waiting for a while for this game to come out. But overall, we have to be reminded that Larian Studios is doing this as an early access for this specific reason. They understand that we are way overdue for the next installment, while they also recognize that an undertaking of this magnitude will undoubtedly come with some setbacks. I, for one, am glad they're giving us something to experience as opposed to nothing. The game is still in development and will be for somewhere around another year as Larian continues to fix bugs and add features. They plan to add more races, more classes, and other features to really round out the game. Another essential thing to make sure that we keep in mind is Baldur's Gate 3 is not meant to be a resurrection of the older games at all. They have taken the best aspects from Baldur's Gate 2 and Original Sin 2 and combined them with the rules and elements of D&D. And in my opinion, it is absolutely perfect. The combination of those is outstanding. But what about purchasing the game at this port? Right now, the game plays anywhere between 25 and 30 hours. It is a fantastic experience already, with all kinds of fights, discoveries, and other adventures. But with all the glitches that still exist, and the fact that we're only scratching the surface of the full potential of this game, it'd be wise to go over the pros and cons of spending $60. Whether you can afford it or not, I don't tell you how to spend your money. I wouldn't expect you to tell me how to spend mine. But I'd say I spend the money. But many outlets are recommending to only buy the early release if you can just not play to, wait to play. Or if you want to participate in the community feedback and help make this game better. They're saying that the next chapter should be expected within a year. However, the possibility is that it could go longer. But the good news is that if you spend your money now, that's it. You're in. And you will have access to the updates as they're made available. $60 for $60 for fantastic gameplay that contains quite a few glitches and only plays for 25 to 30 hours. That sounds like some of the AAA titles we've been getting here recently, huh? While having to wait a year or longer for the next chapter, it'll be up to you guys to determine if it's worth the cost.
Save us from this place.
I, for one,
From this place you'll free
didn't
us.
even hesitate. But
the exposed brain.
You guys let me know.
Expectation.
You have any thoughts? Do you plan on getting the game early? If you already bought the game,
Before they return.
are you going to wait? Let me know in the comments below. I really am interested to know what you guys
Only
think.
from this husk.
That's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks again for hanging out with me here in the Viper's Pit.
A minion of the mind.
I'm working very hard on a few more projects, and we'll have them up here soon. I hope.
Remove us from
Enjoyed
this
hanging out with you guys, though. And I hope you guys are coming with me on the next installment, too. So along with subscribing and liking the video, if you did, please be sure to hit the notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, you guys can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to put in the work. I've got faith in you, and you always have a friend here at the Viper's Pit. That being said, Holy Viper, out.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more subservient should it prove a threat. The creature seems unaware of your interference. It relaxes in your hands.
We are free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed. Us. We are us. we go?
We are going to the helm.